What's up, YouTube? I'm Alberta26. You know, a lot of footage is coming out of this Battle for Azeroth Alpha. I did not get an invite. Shocker. Based on the changes we've been reading about through data mining to abilities and specs and classes in general, I feel that I may be moving away from my Guardian Druid, which I have played since Wrath of the Lich King, pretty much. What direction will I be going in BFA as far as my tanking? You might think it's a little early in the process for me to be making a final decision, but here are 7 reasons why I might be playing a Prot warrior in Battle for Azeroth. So starting down at number 7, I want to talk about the state of Guardian Druids currently and the upcoming changes to them. Currently I feel that the spec isn't playing quite like a tank spec, in that you're expected to stack DPS legendaries and you're expected to slot your weapon with DPS relics, and just you need all of this because your threat and DPS in general are insufficient without these augmentations. The survivability is all there, but you're basically pushing yourself to play like a DPS. And it's a pretty boring DPS at that, since you essentially spam Thrash and watch out for the occasional Moonfire proc. Moonfire! 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 Now, don't get me wrong, I obviously enjoy playing the spec enough for it to be my main currently, and stand by it. But moving into BFA, there are some changes on the horizon that have me a little concerned. For example, we're losing our artifact weapons, and that means losing 2 key abilities, and that's going to be Rage of the Sleeper, and we'll be losing the passive trait Positive Outlook. Rage of the Sleeper is a really big DPS and tanking cooldown at the same time, giving us self-heals, giving us a big damage boost, and giving us some damage reduction. And as of right now in the alpha, it's completely gone, no replacement, nothing. This is very disappointing. The loss of Positive Outlook is also going to directly impact DPS, in that Positive Outlook affords you extra procs of your Thrash, essentially, at a pretty decent rate. So losing that, that's going to impact our DPS and so our threat again. So based on these things right now, it's not looking so hot for Guardian Druid. Our self-heal capability is being reduced with the changes to Frenzied Regeneration, less charges, less self-healing from it. Iron Fur also received a nerf to the amount of armor it affords you. So all in all, where Guardian Druids are now and where they're going is still obviously up in the air. We're only in the alpha. But for me right now, it's hard to keep a positive outlook. That's the ability that they're removing. Get it? Great. Moving up to number 6. When I think about the Warriors toolkit as opposed to the Druids toolkit, I find myself a little envious of Warriors. They have Spell Reflect, which is awesome. They have Rallying Cry, which is a great raid-wide cooldown. They have Heroic Leap, they've got that mobility. Those are things that Druids don't really have. So I would look forward to having a lot more like utility toys to play with, as opposed to flat, take less damage. Push this button to take less damage for some reason. Push this button to take less damage for another reason. And it's all just damage reduction. And it doesn't really challenge you to use the right ability, the right cooldown, for the right moment. Coming in at number 5 is the fact that Prot Warriors won't be affected too drastically by the loss of their artifact weapon. Sure, Neltharion Fury is a cool cooldown, nice little bit of DPS in AoE situations, really helped a lot in Mythic Plus, but it's not really going to leave a huge hole in their arsenal. For number 4, I'm going to say that High Mountain Tauren have amazing antlers. No, but really, the fact that Warriors can be High Mountain Tauren, who have great racials for tanking, and, I mean, you can't get around the antlers, really. And bonuses to blacksmithing, which on my warrior, I play mining blacksmithing. Seems to be just a perfect fit, and maybe it'll prompt me to actually level 1 instead of race changing to 1, so that I can get that sweet, sweet heritage armor set. God damn. Number 3 is that warrior gameplay. Now, I find their, like, I don't want to call it a rotation, but their gameplay to be a little more engaging, a little more satisfying than Druid. With Druid, I feel like I'm just spamming up some rage, and then I dump it into a defensive, and that's it. Or I heal myself, or I do nothing with it. You know, maybe I'll maul. They did buff that, I guess. But with a warrior, there's this synergy. You're trying to flip between your revenge buff and your ignore pain buff, and you know, you're building up towards a better defensive, but you can dump rage now if you need to, if you're gonna die or something like that. So it's more active. There's a little bit more, you have to pay attention a little bit more frantic style, if anything. On a warrior right now, you're constantly cycling your cooldowns. Hopefully they'll be a little bit stronger in BFA, and that's how it's looking right now. So you'll have a little bit more choice of when you use them rather than just trying to always use one of them. But yeah, overall, it's just, for me personally, I think it's a little bit more of a satisfying feel for a tanking spec. Sliding in at number 2, a little tongue-in-cheek, but it's all about those fresh transmogs. On a druid right now, you do have a little bit of choice with your appearance, but that's going away with the artifact weapons, so all druids are going to look the same, essentially. That's just a little dissatisfying. It still hasn't been addressed, I don't know. Trolls have a little more variety, I suppose, but being able to transmog up a shield and a sword and just all the whole armor sets and everything, and have that stuff be visible to me during my gameplay is just very satisfying, you know? Well, that's a bit of a throwaway, but it matters to me. Up in the top spot, number 1 is the Ignore Pain rework, though. This change from having Ignore Pain be some kind of absorb to it actually reducing damage at the expense of your rage is just genius to me. It's class fantasy, it's a unique mechanic, it's distinct from just running an absorb like a Death Knight does. You know, I don't play a tank class to top a heal meter, but that's what's happening right now in some circumstances, and it's just bizarre. So this switch to having it fueled by your rage and directly impact your rage bar so that you're managing that and not some absorb that you need a weak aura to keep track of, just it's the bee's knees to me. I think it's a great move. Now, like I've said a couple of times, this is all very preliminary, right? This is just the alpha. It's a closed test. It's not live. It's not even close. So for all I know, this could change up. But as the way things are right now, these are the reasons why I'm really strongly considering a protection warrior for my main coming up in Battle of Azeroth. But I want to hear what you all think as well. So leave your comments below and let me know if there's a different class you think maybe you would suggest, or if you think druids are going to stay on top of the mountain, or, you know, whatever. Thanks for watching this video. I'm Alberta26. Game on.